Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. We are syndicated. You can find us on television, and that's Abundance Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. And then this big radio station here in South Carolina, they're like huge, WZLA, and they air the show also on Saturdays at 9 a.m. in the morning. That again is on the Eastern Time Zone. So we want to appreciate them and thank them so much for doing that. You can also check out their morning show. I mean, it's like so funny. I mean, if you're in a nasty mood, and I know most of you are not, but if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you got a headache or something, you want to laugh, listen to their morning show. It's so funny. It's just like crazy. But anyway, and it's not slapstick stuff. I mean, it's like really genuinely funny stuff. So make sure you check them out. AP Steadham is with me right now. AP, your show aired on that, and that's why we're getting so many emails now about this neck of the woods in college football. So, you know, you're making your footprint here in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, those fans, I tell you all the time, very excellent fans, rabid fans. So, but their teams are not faring well right now, Donna. Dabo Swinney, especially 5 losses. It hasn't happened since, over 10 years now. So I think he's probably going to have a serious discussion with himself and his athletic director and administration and try to turn it around. I wouldn't advise them making a move at this moment unless they had some candidate that they're truly in love with at this time. So I think Dabo will be there next year as well and see if he can rebound and come up with a plan. And Donna, when you're having difficulties as a team, many times do you have the right quarterback? But Clemson's not playing good defense either. They gave up 40-something points over the weekend to Duke. Duke had won there, and they said, I think it was 45 years or something, some ridiculous amount of years. And they finally won the game. It was at 1 point. They went for the 2-point conversion at the end, and they were successful, and they defeated Clemson. So Clemson, forget this year, but you're going to regroup next season, make some changes. Offensively, defensively, maybe the people you're bringing on board, take a look at the transfer portal and try to fill in specifically for areas where you have non-production this year. I mean, defensively, you can't you can't score 40-something points down and lose, is my point. If you score 40-something points, you should be winning. So just on defense alone, I mean, offensively, they're scoring points. But they can't stop anyone right now. So, and then South Carolina, same offensively. South Carolina, even though they have Lenora Sellers, pretty good quarterback, but they can't score enough points offensively. It just puts such a burden on the defense, and you're worn down by the middle of the season, and of course, the end, you're ready to call it a day.
Well, Nicole had a real good question for you, and that would be, and apparently she's from Alabama. She's talking about Auburn losing coach. And she said, is it wise, though, to do that, like cut it off in the middle of the season, or should they have just waited? Because that's got to be tough on the team.
Yeah, it's tough on the team, tough on the coaching staff as well. I guess there's 2 philosophies, Donna. I would always just wait to the end because you can talk to the representatives of the potential coaches without going directly to the coach. So you can be in discussions and be ready to strike and sign deals at the end of the season. Why not let them just finish the season out? But people, they have their ways, and you can even make an announcement that he's not going to return and keep his coach. Why disrupt everything? Just keep the coach and see what can be done. Maybe they'll rally around their coach. Some of the players, they like the coach. Maybe they'll, for whatever reason, they play better, subconsciously, consciously. So I'd probably keep the coach or maybe I'd just make an announcement, say he's not going to return. And we're paying him. Let him coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're going to pay him big time.
The potential, the buyout at Auburn is around 15, just a little bit north of 15 million, I guess.
It's still a lot of money. I could buy a lot of potato chips with that.
15 million. I mean, yeah, that's a nice severance package.
Will that all be paid in one lump sum?
Not necessarily, Donna. They different agreements have a schedule of payments. Some have a lump sum payment. 15 million. You might be able to come up with 15 million a lump sum payment, but normally it's spread over a number of years. Usually.
Yeah. And then taxes have to be come out, like at least half, I would say, of taxes. He's still not going to starve to death with $7 million. I mean, he'll still be
no, they make out fine. It's generational money down there. It's not like it was years ago. I think that's where it all started to get off track, because the coaching association always said, well, if you let someone go, they only have a few years where they're involved as a head coach, so you need to have some type of severance package. That's when they were making in the hundreds of thousands, let's say. But now when you're making, I'll give you an example. Kirby Smart, 13 million 1 year. I mean, if you didn't pay him another dime, he'll be fine. He'd be fine. His children would be fine. His grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren would be fine. I can assure you. But some are, nobody has interrupted that trend of having the buyouts and guaranteed years. And I've been on the show many times and made a suggestion, guarantee him a couple of years, 10 million. I'm using that as a base figure because Kirby makes 13 million at the top paid coach in college football. If you paid somebody, guaranteed him 10 million for 2 years, that's 20 million. And if you rolled over the next year, you think the coach would make it through the first year. You're really saying, I'm going to give you 30. And you probably make it till 2 years. You're really going to give him 40. So there's no need to guarantee 5, 8, 10 years. It's absurd. And if the agent can't live with it, you just tell them, look, sir or ma'am, we will find somebody to take this $10 million a year and it will be a good football coach. So you can tell your client, I'm at this school in the SEC and they can go to some other school. May not be in the SEC. So you have to explain that to your client why he's not coaching in the SEC and he wants to be in this league. That's the leverage I would use.
How about we just take out the middleman? Okay, because the middleman that's where we're coming into a problem.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's going to go way down to that. They started having agents probably in the 60s with players. Because I'll tell you a story. A Green Bay Packers, Vince Lombardi, famous coach, a player came into his office and said, well, I have my agent. He's going to discuss the contract. And Vince Lombardi, he said, well, excuse me, I'll be right back. He walked into the other room. He came back into the room and says, well, tell your agent he could talk to the people at Cleveland. You just been traded. I mean, that's powerful people. They don't like anybody that stands up to them, as we know. So 60 years ago, when they introduced the idea of agents, owners and coaches, they were not happy. But in fairness, why shouldn't somebody have a person representing them?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I've given you this scenario before. Bobby Ledbetter with Twin City Used Car Sales. He's his own guy. He stands there. He's the person who says who I'm going to let advertise with my business and who I won't. And I think he comes that way ahead. He's selling more cars than everybody else is. You can't even get into some of the other car places, to even talk. That you would like as a sponsor. And so I just deal with him. I don't even try to get anybody else. It's so hard to get in.
Right. But I think there was a person who once said about an individual appearing in court as their own lawyer, and the person said, "You have a fool for a client." So I think it's best if you have a separate party, because that you don't have to be emotional. In other words, you have to still have a good relationship with the people in that athletic department in the university or the college or the school. So there's no harsh words. Anything that would come up that would be in that category, you didn't have to say it.
True.
And you still maintain a good relationship. Yeah.
But you can also say this: nobody knows your business like you do, and so this guy knows his customers. He knows his customer base, and he's outselling everybody else. And so he knows something. He really knows something. But anyway, that's not even having anything to do. Well, it kind of does have something to do with football. We're still talking about the situation we have now, where people paid this enormous amount of money. I'll tell you this, AP. Any of my competitors who'd love to see me gone and not have the show, if y'all will just get together, offer me $1 million, I'll step down. I'll not do this anymore, sort of.
An easy negotiation, huh? An easy negotiation. There we go.
It'd be that easy. It'd be that simple with me. Okay, there were other ball games being played too. That's over the weekend.
Right. You see, in Auburn, they were playing at home down. I just mentioned this, and it was really a reflection, the worst reflection of Hugh Freeze's teams. They only scored 3 points. And Donna, and we use this term many times on your show, this is an era where it's quarterback centric. If you select the wrong quarterback, it's hard to overcome not having a quarterback that can help you win football games. And they brought in the transfer of Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma, Ashton Daniels from Stanford, and they have the Deuce Knight, the freshman from Ole Miss. Those top two quarterbacks were not able to generate enough offense. Auburn plays good defense, pretty good defense every week. They play top level defense, but they just don't have the offense to score enough points to give themselves a chance. And here they are playing Kentucky, a team that didn't have a win in the conference, and they put up 10 points. That's all it was, 10 points. Auburn couldn't even score a touchdown at home. And this is midseason. And Hugh Freeze, Donna, his forte is offense. And they've struggled in that area all the time he's been the coach, a little bit less than 3 years. So they had to make a change. Like I said, they chose to do it right now before the season ended. But that's their choice. But they'll have to find somebody that fits the Auburn culture. I tell people all the time in this era, Don, where it's so much parity, you better find someone who can coach because it's very close in talent. So either that person is a great coach or he finds great assistants and great offensive and defensive coordinators, special teams coordinators. So that's imperative if I'm looking at a coach. And Don, I'm not of the ilk to just round up the usual suspects, as they say in Casablanca, right? That movie, Round Up the Usual Suspects. I'm willing to have the courage and conviction and vision to reach out to someone who's maybe has not been a head coach or is at a lower level school. That's my preference because
I got one I think would be good. What are your thoughts? Cadillac Williams.
Yeah, I think his name has come up in some places. My feeling about Cadillac was I don't think he was a head coach per se, but if you had the discussion with him about the assistants he would hire, maybe that might be something to consider in the right situation. But like I said, it'd have to be very, very specific with the assistants that he's hired.
He needs to make sure his dad is not trying to run things for him again. That's the only thing with Cadillac. His dad kind of got in the way.
Yeah, you can't have any interference from your family. No, that's not it. I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend.
Oh, but I'm going to tell you what. His mom was awesome. She used to work for us. And
okay.
So she was an awesome lady. She took good care of. She was one of the few who took extremely good care of my customers. You would have thought this was her business. She
right.
did a good job.
She understood. That's great. That's hard to find.
Yeah, she got it. She most certainly did. We're going to have to go into a commercial break, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there, okay?
Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
We're back. Thank you so much for watching. You're the reason we do what we do. Wanted to mention another new sponsor we have, and it's My Patriot Supply. Go ahead and check them out. If you'll go to our website, donnasedge.com, you'll be able to see that link. Click on it. They are running so many good specials right now. It's not even funny. And this is food and all kinds of wonderful items that you can put up. You know, a lot of people put money behind for their kids for inheritance sakes. You could do that for your kids with food. Because this stuff they freeze dry it, and it's just really good. They got meats, they got vegetables, they got all kinds of stuff. And even if you don't really care about anything like that, you got a busy lifestyle, you don't want to eat out supper every single day, you can go to My Patriot Supply. It's already food put together for you. All you got to do is just put it in water and eat it. That's all you got to do. And it tastes really, really good. So I want to thank My Patriot Supply for coming on board with us. We definitely appreciate that. AP Steadham was with us right now. There were a few other ball games that were being played over the weekend too.
Yeah, big ball game, Donna, was the Vanderbilt at Texas game. And Texas got off to a big lead. Arch Manning and company, they were very efficient on offense. And at one time it was 34-10. And then Vanderbilt came all the way back, and the final score ended up being 34-31. Diego Pavia and Clark Lee, the head coach of Vanderbilt, they made a ball game of it, but they really were overwhelmed throughout the game and had to come from behind. It's very difficult when you're losing on the road 34-10 to come all the way back, but they made a valiant effort. But that was a big ball game for Texas because they're still in the hunt to earn a berth in the college football playoff. You know, they have the two losses. They lost to Florida in the SEC, and they lost to Ohio State by one touchdown, the top team in America, Ohio State, the first game of the year. So that was a good loss, as they categorized that type of game, down 14-7 against the number one team. So Texas maintains their control of their destiny, And Vanderbilt does as well, but Vanderbilt can't afford to lose any more games. They got some tough games coming up. So Georgia and Florida played that big rivalry down in Jacksonville, and Florida was ahead for a while, and then Georgia came back and won that ball game 24-20. It was close, but Georgia, they won I think 5 in a row in that series, I believe. So Georgia, sitting at 7-1, 5-1 in the conference, they're one of the top teams in America as well. We had the Auburn and Kentucky game we mentioned. Also, let me see these other ball games. Look here, we got Arkansas, Mississippi State played, and Mississippi State won 38-35. So that was the first win for Mississippi State. Arkansas still hasn't won a conference game. We have South Carolina played Ole Miss, and Ole Miss defeated South Carolina in Oxford 30-14. So South Carolina was struggling this year, but Ole Miss is 8-1, 5-1 in the conference, in the hunt, in contention for the college football playoffs. But there'll be some good ball games this week. Donna, Alabama hosts LSU. LSU will have the interim coach, Frank Wilson. So Alabama probably win that ball game, Donna, but it's still important. LSU is going to try to finish out the season. They're looking for a coach. Florida's looking for a coach. They have Billy Gonzalez as the interim. So there's openings at Auburn, Florida, LSU, and Arkansas. And then Kentucky is the team down. And Mark Stoops been there a long time. He's the dean of all the coaches, been there the longest. I think is it 12 years or so? But I don't know. Maybe he finishes out to the season, and maybe Kentucky looks for a new coach at the end of the year, possibly. I don't know.
Who are your top 5?
Yeah, my top 5, Donna. In my poll, I had Ohio State continues to be number 1, Indiana number 2, Texas A&M number 3, Georgia 4, and Alabama 5. I know some people are wondering, why do I have Georgia ahead of Alabama? They head-to-head, Georgia lost to them, but I still think Georgia's a team to beat. Georgia, their loss was to Alabama, but Alabama's loss was to Florida State, a team with 4 losses and not playing very well. So that's why I put Georgia ahead. I mean, you could flop them, but that's the way I have them right now.
Okay, so I know it's a few weeks out there, but the Iron Bowl is coming up, and everybody around here laughs at me. All I've got to do is say I'm Auburn Fields, Alabama, and everybody laughs. I mean, it's just like, boy, it must be crazy at your house. And I go, yeah, that 1 week out of the year, yeah, we don't get along with each other well. But now we can actually offer, advice to people the rest of the year, on how to keep your marriage strong. But it's just that 1 week. So you never know that. I never call that game. Okay, I just don't, because Auburn can actually be losing every single game of the season and come out and whip that one up. What drives that?
And especially with an interim coach, Donnie, you don't know what's going to happen. DJ Durkin, the defensive coordinator, is an interim coach at Auburn now. And so you don't know what type of trick plays they might use. And remember, Auburn plays good defense. So they could lower that score for Alabama, and then they'll get into a battle. And when it gets into a battle, Donna, that ball is oblong. It takes all types of funny bounces, and things happen in football. So Auburn's hopes would be that their defense befuddled Alabama and stifled them, and then keeps the score low. That would be their chance to win the ballgame, which could happen over at Auburn, because they're going to be loud and they're going to be disruptive to the crowd. So, and the crowd helps the team. I think it does in a close ball game. If the other team has more talent, it doesn't matter what the crowd does, Don, because the talent overwhelms. They're superior and they just outman the other team. But if Auburn wants to win that game, I would say low scoring. Come up with a trick play or two, score on a turnover. Your field goal kicker is perfect that day, and no turnovers by your team, and the other team, they have plenty of turnovers. Yeah, it could happen. The funnier things.
And coach too. I mean, he could want to show the world something, And this could really, in a way, maybe coach being fired could be a way to give Auburn a real good shot. I mean,
they might. Yeah, you've seen it happen before. Teams rally around the interim coach, or they want to represent the former coach in a good way, and so it happens. But Alabama right now, Donna, like I said, they're playing LSU, a team that's wounded because they they had to fire their coach. And so Alabama's got to play Oklahoma as well down the road. Oklahoma, a good football team, went on the road. And we've got to mention that game. Tennessee, they beat Tennessee on the road. And that was a surprise. I thought Tennessee would win the game because they had too much firepower offensively. But, Donna, you cannot account for the turnovers. When you give the other team possession of the ball and you score off turnovers, I think it was 12 points that Oklahoma scored on the road. So that was an upset. So the Tennessee fans, essentially, I think they're really knocked out of the playoff hunt because they lost to Georgia, lost to Oklahoma, and they had another loss in there, I believe, as well. But so that was a big ball game for Oklahoma to stay in the hunt for the playoffs because they lost to Texas already, and so they're still in the hunt. Oklahoma's still in the hunt.
AP, as we see it, what happened on your show last week?
Yeah. Last week we had a fun show. We had Football Scoop, the national columnist Zach Barnett, and we discussed some of the openings, the coaching, and some of the ball games, and some of the top quarterbacks in the conference. And yeah, Zach does a great job. They cover all the teams in the country in Football Scoop. He's the national columnist, so go and check that out. This week we're going to have somebody from Dave Campbell's Football, the national writer. He's going to come on board, and of course, Dave Campbell's Football down. That's been in operation 50 plus years. I remember reading that when I first started out looking at football magazines. So I happened to sit next to him at the LSU Texas A&M game. So going to get that gentleman to come on our show this week, and we'll discuss all the games. I think there's 6 games this week. There's some byes this week. Arkansas has a bye. Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. So we have 6 conference games to discuss. Ole Miss plays Citadel, so that's a non-conference team. But that's a warm-up game for Ole Miss. Really, they'll roll the Citadel, I'm sure. But there's 6 games to discuss. And Texas A&M, Donna, they're an undefeated team. They travel to Mizzou, and Mizzou is sitting at 6-2, 2-2 in the conference. Texas A&M undefeated in the conference, 5-0, and overall record 8-0. So that's a big ball game with implications for the playoffs and the conference to reach the conference championship as well. Georgia plays at Mississippi State. Florida's at Kentucky. And we said, Alabama hosts LSU, and then Auburn travels to Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt had Auburn's number last year. They beat them by double digits down at Auburn. So that's going to be a tough ball game. Vanderbilt's recovering from that 34-31 close loss in Austin. And of course, Auburn lost to Kentucky 10-3. So those are I think those when I mentioned all the games. I just want to make sure we got all of them. Yeah, we have all of them that I mentioned. Yes, those 6 games. So it's always a good slate of games in the conference.
Okay, now which game is going to be the one that no one should miss?
I'm thinking that Texas A&M Missouri game, Donna, because those 2 teams, their coaches are successful, and they're in the hunt for the playoffs and for the SEC championship game to be a participant. And I think that's probably the game to watch this weekend if you're looking to see 2 SEC teams where it should be a good competition and it has some meaning to the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got to watch those games. AP, thank you so much for being with me, and thank you guys so much for watching. You're the reason we do what we do. You can find us on television, and that's on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on newscasters.com and WZLA Radio. There's a powerhouse right here in South Carolina. Thank you guys so much for letting us be part of your world. See you next time around and play football.